Like, sub, comment, thanks. So there's been a lie going around the Sonic community that has been said for a very long time, and it's this simple quote: Sonic X Shadow Generations sold 1 million copies on its first day. And I'm going to explain to you why this is a lie that you should not listen to. As of yesterday, 10/20/22/2025, the Sonic game Sonic Racing Crossworlds had recently hit 1 million copies, and a bunch of people around the world have been saying, hey, Sonic games are selling way better. Why isn't the current new Sonic game selling 1 million copies on its first day? You'd assume that this would make a lot of sense, but it actually really doesn't. Let me go ahead and explain this. Sonic X Shadow Generations is a very unique case for a Sonic game as a whole. You had a whole year of build-up up until a release of a movie and a video game at the same time. So the cross-pollination is going to be insanely high. And then you get to think about Sonic X Shadow selling 1 million copies in its first day. So this only happened because of the pre-orders, which started about 3 months before the game came out. So when you take all of that together, it didn't actually sell 1 million copies in its first day, it sold 1 million copies over 3 months. Sonic games are getting more popular, but only the main games are getting popular, and even at that, the main games aren't getting popular enough to sell 1 million copies in one day. And in fact, after its first month of being out, it only sold 500,000 copies after that. And then even more of that, if you're a general audience member, if you see the length of Shadow Generations and Sonic Generations combined, you may not even think that buying another Sonic game is worthwhile due to how short both games are and due to how clearly it is that they are separate experiences not meant to be combined together. And then on top of that, the previous Sonic game was also $50. And this game isn't like main enough or doesn't have enough base content to justify the $70 price tag to the normal consumers who don't like Sonic lore. I love Sonic lore, it was worth it to me. Okay, I got to make my little video and it was pretty good. But it is very, very, very aware of the fact that most people are not going to buy the kart racer for $70 when they were willing to buy in droves the main series of games, expanded on and introduced more lore, and they spent only 1 million on that and only spent 500,000 on that when it cost $50. It makes a lot of sense why no one took that bait and bought the $70. I think this game would have sold 2 million copies in pre-orders if this game was $50 also. Because when you spend a decade making bad video games and then you start making good ones, the goodwill coming back doesn't happen until you've actually built that goodwill. People like Shadow enough to ignore goodwill. That is what I'm saying. People like Shadow the Hedgehog enough to ignore goodwill. They should have called it Shadow Racing Crossworlds. Yes, that is my marketing campaign. Sonic Racing Crossworlds, they put an X on it, they put Shadow Racing Crossworlds, because people will ignore life for Shadow and good rock music. For some reason, Frontiers just sold so many copies based on that music. Like literally, I was talking to a person who only played Sonic Frontiers because they wanted to hear the music inside the game. It's insane. I still love this game, and I really hope that the game continues to grow in popularity. Not only because they'll just keep adding more and more stuff to the game, but because we need something to play in between major releases, because the Sonic fan base, when they're not doing something with their time, they spend all their time on Twitter. This game will eventually be the ultimate Sonic racing game, and I'm very excited when we get there, because if it keeps getting updates, eventually they're just going to get too many things to do, and we'll have to get other types of racing modes. Yes, I'm saying it. If we support this game for long enough, we can get a actually on-foot Sonic racing game, and that would be fire, because they can only add so much, and they don't want to add anything that's not already in the games, so that means they'll eventually just run out of characters to add that aren't complete deep cuts and that won't sell a lot of money unless they sell them in 3-packs. We're gonna get there, boys. They don't like any of the Western characters at all. We are going to get there. We are going to get to other racing modes. We just have to wait out a little bit longer and hope that they decrease the amount of guest characters that they add, because we need more Sonic characters to be in the game. Anyway, have a beautiful day, guys. I'll see you guys around. Peace.